Welcome back to Super Sports, and today I will be making my NFL divisional game predictions, following my 4-2 picks from last week. Remember to like and subscribe for more sports content. Without further ado, let's get into it. The Kansas City Chiefs host the Jacksonville Jaguars at Arrowhead for a divisional round Week 10 rematch, where Kansas City defeated the Jaguars 27-17. Mahomes had 331 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Chiefs, and a rating just under 130. The Chiefs are not taking on the same Week 10 team, however. They are taking on a Jacksonville team on a 6-game win streak following an improbable comeback against the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence threw for 4 interceptions, with 3 in the first quarter, and then threw for 4 touchdowns to reach the divisional round. Jaguars' Travis Etienne had over 1,100 yards this season and had a great wildcard game with over 100 yards on 5.5 yards per carry. However, when Kansas City faced Etienne, he was held to only 4 yards per carry. Even in Jacksonville's loss, Trevor Lawrence still performed well, posting a 106.1 rating despite getting sacked 5 times by Kansas City. Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk scored last week, along with Zay Jones. If Lawrence has time against Kansas City's pass rush, they both could play a big role against the secondary that has allowed the most touchdowns in the NFL. The Jaguars could also take advantage of the Chiefs' 101 rating allowed to tight ends, with Evan Ingram, who had 93 yards last Saturday. In order for the Jaguars to win this game, their defense must stop the league's best offense led by Patrick Mahomes. The Jaguars struggled to contain tight ends as well, with a 119.3 rating allowed to the position, and now have to face Travis Kelce, who is a first-team All-Pro. Jacksonville will keep it close, but the Chiefs' offense will be too much for the Jaguars to handle. The number 1 seeded Philadelphia Eagles host a familiar division rival, the New York Giants, on Saturday. The Eagles swept the Giants in the regular season, most recently winning 22-16 against New York's backups in Week 18. In Week 14, the Eagles won on the road 48-22. In that Week 14 game, Philadelphia's offense had 253 rush yards and 437 total yards. However, Jalen Hurts has not had a great performance in a while now, and the Giants have scored 24 or more points in 3 of their last 4 games. Giant Saquon Barkley did have a great performance last week, and it rushed for 5.9 yards per carry. The Eagles have also allowed 6.5 yards per carry to quarterbacks on the season, and quarterback Daniel Jones had 79 yards in the Giants' win against Minnesota. Jones played well through the air too, throwing for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he has a 110 rating in back-to-back games. The Giants' offensive line will have to hold up against a very good Eagles pass rush, and Daniel Jones has taken 49 sacks on the year. The New York Giants will also need to stop Philadelphia's offense, which is 3rd most in points per game. The Eagles' rush offense is led by Miles Sanders, who has had almost 5 yards per carry on the season. The Giants have been pretty bad against running backs this season, but did hold Dalvin Cook to 4 yards per carry last week. Like New York, the Eagles have another good dual-threat quarterback by the name of Jalen Hurts, who has rushed for 760 yards this season. Hurts the passer has had a 101.5 rating on the year, with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both having over 1,100 receiving yard seasons. This year, the New York Giants have allowed a 87.7 rating to wide receivers and held Justin Jefferson to only 47 yards last week. I believe the Eagles will edge out the Giants in this game by a score of 30-27. The Buffalo Bills host the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday to determine who reaches the AFC Championship. The Cincinnati Bengals are on a 9-game winning streak, while the Buffalo Bills are on an 8-game winning streak. Both teams are great on both sides of the ball. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow had a 99.6 rating against a very good Ravens defense. The Bills defense he takes on is 2nd in points per game allowed and held Miami's Skylar Thompson to a 44.7 rating. The Bills must stop the Bengals wide receiver trio, starting with Jamar Chase, who had 84 yards and a touchdown last week. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd also contributed to the Bengals' victory and had just below 1,800 combined receiving yards on the season. Josh Allen comes into this game off of mixed showing and has one or more interception in 3 straight. He lost a fumble last week that led to a Miami touchdown and threw 2 interceptions in their game against Miami. However, Josh Allen did throw for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns in Buffalo's win. Cincinnati's Eli Apple did not perform well against the Ravens and will be tasked with guarding second-team All-Pro Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis both had over 100 yards, along with Khalil Shakir's 51-yard performance in Buffalo's wildcard game. The Bengals' pass defense did not completely shut Tyler Huntley down and allowed a 92 rating to the Ravens' backup. I think this game will be an offensive shootout, but the Buffalo Bills will prevail 31-30. The Dallas Cowboys travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who have won their last 11 games. The Dallas Cowboys come in off one of quarterback Dak Prescott's best games, throwing for 4 touchdowns for a 143.3 rating. The Cowboys' offense will have a bigger challenge on defense, with San Francisco allowing over 24 points only 3 times. The 49ers did allow Geno Smith to post a 98.9 rating last week, but have held wide receivers to an 88.5 rating this season. Tight end Dalton Schultz led the Cowboys in receiving yards in their wildcard game, with a 2-touchdown, 95-yard performance. CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup both had good games as well for the Cowboys. Tony Pollard led the Cowboys in rushing yards with 77 yards on the ground for 5.1 yards per carry, while Ezekiel Elliott has been under 4 yards per carry in his last 5 games. The 49ers have been the best in the league at stopping the rush, and have held running backs to 3.3 yards per carry. The 49ers offense has been dominant these last 4 games, scoring over 37 in 4 straight. San Francisco's Brock Purdy had 3 touchdowns last week for over 332 yards, and Deebo Samuel had 133 receiving yards with a touchdown. The 49ers have performed very well on the ground, and Christian McCaffrey had 7.9 yards per carry in last week's victory. Another thing to note is that the Cowboys kicker, Brett Maher, missed 4 extra points last week, which could be an issue if the game is very close. I will pick the 49ers to reach the NFC Championship with a 34-27 win over Dallas. Thank you for watching to the end of my NFL Divisional Predictions. Like and subscribe for more sports content, and comment your picks and analysis down in the comments.